When I was living in Siem Reap, there was a Hare Krishna center, and we would go to chant on Sunday nights, and then they would have, I forget what they call it. Do you know what they call it? The food
Prasad?
prasad, yeah,
Yeah.
prasad
Beautiful.
afterwards, and it's always just like
Yeah.
it's just like it's like potatoes, and it's
Yeah.
like this is delicious. It's just so good. It's amazing. Like, what happened? Everything is better now.
Yeah, and fuse things with God's name, and I'm surprised it tastes amazing.
Exactly.
We actually went to, we're heading, I think, from Auckland here back to the ashram, and we stopped in a little town. I can't remember what it's called. And we parked in the park, and then we realized you had to pay. And as we walked back, paid and walked back to put the ticket in the car, and then there was a wall with like little baby Krishna and Hare Krishna. And then Guruji's like, Hare Krishna. And we went there, and it was like, well, you walked in, it's just beautiful food, and it's all donation. And like, yeah, it was such a lovely vibe. And, me and Guruji being dressed in all white gets attention, and especially in a place like and they're like, who are you? They wanted to ask all these questions. Next thing you know, they're taking us down to their temple, and we're doing a meditation with them in the temple, and so special.
How nice.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Life's so good when you just surrender and flow.
Yeah, just allow.
Yeah,
And
who
everyone
knew?
just gives you gifts and feeds you
Yeah,
and welcomes you.
I know it's yeah. And then I just have to breathe and like, let's go with it. This is amazing. Stop questioning anything. Just go with it.
Yeah, take the human mind out of it. That's like
Mm.
that's one of my favorite lines from Yoga Nidra. Take your mind out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what?
Yeah. Yeah. Just be.
Yeah. Yeah, just be. And on that note, yeah. This is a really cool thing because we've just met, really. And this podcast I started it a couple of years ago, and then I did all these interviews with people, and I never had the time or the energy to like actually launch it. But you've kind of reignited this in me. I had started already this year, and like, okay, I'm just gonna do this like every week. So
Good.
yeah. And I've called it Our Embodied Divinity.
Wow.
And it's about normalizing all of our spiritual gifts and all of the miraculous ways and all of the really fucked up ways that we find the path to realization and actualize our gifts in our lives, and hopefully make the journey of spiritual awakening less confusing and more connected to one another, and to remind each other how we actually have always known how to soothe ourselves and love ourselves and support ourselves, because we've always been guided and loved. And hopefully by having people describe their experiences, it helps everyone listening to have like some more tools to maybe try that on and see if it works for them, to support them.
Yes.
And yeah, it's also a way that I get to share amazing people like you that I've met in my journey and along my travels. And yeah, I just want everyone to know that whether, so many people will be on this, as you also have your own channel and interview various people,
Yes.
that some people have fully recognized their gifts, and some people are, just starting their journey, and then some people are anywhere in between on this like wide spectrum. And that I want to impress upon people that we are all one, we are all the same, we are just like you are just like us. We're all here to share our unique magic with the world, and we just have to give that a voice. So this is part of my way of getting more people's voices heard. Yeah.
Playing your role, doing your part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Who
Yeah.
thought when you walked up to our little tent in Mr. Kirtan that we'd be talking right now, huh?
Just the divine
Yeah,
knew.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know, it
Yeah.
just come over me like, oh, it's Bimbisara, a guy, beautiful being who comes here to the ashram, and he's a part of it all as well, and part of Isha Foundation. And he's like, Gareth, you're so good at speaking with people. I love your YouTube channel. I think you need to interview more people. Like when you go to festivals, find special people you resonate with and sit down and just talk. And I was like, okay. And then, yeah,
Will
I
do.
see you. Yeah, and I thought, there was a good energy with you and felt a connection. I was like, oh, I'll ask her if she wants to be on camera. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
yeah, it's nice. And I'm still uploading that one. I'm just editing it.
Yeah, cool. You're doing
All I
you're
need,
doing a
all I need to
wonderful
do is
job.
cut the start of it. That's it. And then upload it.
Edit that first bit out. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
that
the
will be
story
there.
of my life also, always editing in YouTube and then
Yeah,
oh, I'm gonna get to that. Okay, yep, it's coming.
yeah,
No. Hold on, everybody. Wait. I know you're
yeah.
chomping at the bit. All my what 100 followers or something. Anyway.
Woo!
Yeah. It's
So
all
it
good.
starts.
We love them all. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
if even one can, walk away, have a good takeaway from it, then it's amazing.
Yeah, and I get little snippets sometimes, every now and then. Like YouTube isn't a very engaging platform, but every
Mm.
now and then someone does like leave a message like, "Oh, that was great," or something, and it's like, "Hey, look at that.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Somebody's been impacted. That's
yeah,
beautiful." Yeah.
it gives you that more motivation to keep going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just feels so good, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's what it's all about.
Mm.
Yeah. So, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much for not only agreeing to be here and be interviewed by me, but also for just offering that to me for
Yeah.
interviewing me and just this awesome connection. It's been so beautiful just
Mm.
knowing you and chatting with you. So I'm just really excited and happy and grateful.
Same.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you want to share about, um, or anything that you want to clear? This is like the coaching in me. If there's anything
Mm.
that is just like top of mind or that you'd like to release or maybe say or speak or anything before we get into like the podcasty questions.
Um, I just guess if any listeners are here, just open your heart and mind and just be and enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. That's a beautiful message. Yes.
Mm.
So you said a little bit about how we met one another. We both kind of said a little bit about that, but
Yeah.
is there anything missing? Is there anything that's not expressed in
Uh,
that
I
story?
was with Guruji, Yogi Bishwanath. We had come to Shiva Shakti Festival to do, I think, 5 events. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, we had the kirtan and we were chanting away, and then we did meditation with the people, and then we just finished up, and then you walked along and came and missed it. But then I think we were like, oh, well, you got the fire ceremony tonight, and then a few other things, so we'll see you around. But it was just beautiful being there, especially if, Guruji, because that's our mission, to touch as many people and spread joy, peace, love, and help people realize their self. And move along the path. And yeah, we're just traveling around the whole country. I think we did 7 events in Christchurch, 2 in
Wow.
Lower Hutt, and then the 5 over that 3-day festival. And then tomorrow, I've booked 6 in a row. We're heading around the top of the North Island, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just a very special time.
Yeah, it's incredible how many people you're reaching and the impact you're having and just the connections that you're making.
Yeah, it's just when you surrender completely, like that's my mantra at the moment. I completely surrender. Yeah.
Mm.
Surrender my mind, I surrender my body, I surrender my soul, I surrender everything to you, God. You know, or whatever terminology you want to use, universe, source, self,
Yeah.
anything. I surrender to the intelligence, like work through me, guide me, take me. You know, I've learned that I don't know anything or how things are really going to work out. But even though I like to try.
Our humanness steps in quite
Yeah,
often, right? Hey,
that's
I
right.
want to figure that out. I want to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Beautiful. That's
that's
for
how we
sure.
met. And
Yeah.
yeah, we I seen you a few times and then asked you if you'd like to interview, and then come when you're doing some yoga stretches, and we went and
Yeah.
sat down.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So
So, um, here's a big one. When did you first start to realize that there is something more to this dimension, this life, this physical reality?
well, as I grew up, I always felt different, you know, very different to my family and peers. But I was still quite I had lots of acquaintances, but I wouldn't say I had anything like super spiritual or anything stand out then. It was more when I got into my teenage years, my early 20s or 18 to 20s. And, I just went down a path of drugs, alcohol, addiction to everything. Really can't believe it now. But yeah, and it was actually psilocybin was the first experience I had. That was when I realized there was more than this world and different dimensions. But then I wasn't ready to receive, and it was very frightening. you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Queenstown, as a place in New Zealand, and I took quite a big dose of it, not knowing really what I was doing, and drinking. And then, once it all kicked in, I, I'm out in public and just had this huge realization that everyone I see, everything was just a projection of my mind. And I didn't know how to comprehend it or anything. It really felt like I was in a game, I was in a bubble. And yeah, it was pretty transformative, but in a very frightening way, because I didn't touch them again for a long time after that, because it was, pretty spooky. I just remembered I was standing there and people just looked like they would be spawning and walking around the corner, and everyone was doing what they were meant to be doing. They're drinking and then they're dancing, but it just looked like I was in a simulation. Everyone wasn't real. And I had this very in-depth feeling of there was only me, and that was terrifying. Also a very lonely feeling, because I was like, have I created this to so I can feel something, the love and connection. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, it was very interesting, and I feel I made a bit of a fool of myself that night. But it was all in the learning. But I remember laying there in bed, just going, I sorry, like, just stop, put me back in the system. I want to forget. Like, this is too
Oh,
uncomfortable. I'm not
yeah.
ready. Just like, and I remember it being quite,
Mm.
I guess terrifying is the word. Um, and I was laying there and my friend's asleep and anything, like when he was awake, I could read everything he was about to say. It would be in my mind first and then he would say it. And then as I laid there, I just heard the same truck with a flat tire. Rub, 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 like everything was on a loop.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just laying there, like expanded consciousness into everything. Everything's floating within me. And
But
so,
also a bit like fearful of what that means.
very, because my
Yeah.
ego was so, my identity was, I am Gareth Fleck, I live in New Zealand, I'm in the metal bands, I'm this, I'm that, I like to drink, I like to party, I'm sociable, like I had all these ideas, that was me. And this just went, you know, like, that's
Yeah.
not you. So that part of me was very frightened. Um, so then I moved from that, that I had very big revelations in my life. But I kind of shied away and went back into I tried to go back to sleep. And
Yeah.
I did, I managed to put myself back to sleep and drink. And um, then it wasn't until I hit complete rock bottom, like in depression, anxiety, suicidal, didn't want to live anymore because I didn't understand how the world worked, didn't understand why my life was the way it was. I was in huge debt, very sad. And
Mm.
I just remember I had another experience as well, LSD as well, because I went to a rave and people gave me MDMA. And then they gave me LSD, and then I remember being 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying in my underwear with my cat, of the universe spiraling in and out of me, and I'm talking to the cat like, "Why do I do this to myself?" You know. The cat's just like looking at me like, "Wow." But so I guess it all started from those types of, the hallucinogenics. Then it
Mm-hmm.
was again, I was taking all these drugs, snorting drugs all the time, just trying to. I was just so depressed and lost that I didn't know any better. Just get drunk, do drugs, go out, try and meet girls. Have nice flash cars, drive around, and yeah. And then it wasn't until like I said, I hit rock bottom, depression. I was like, if I don't do something, I'm going to end my life. It got that bad. And then I remember there's a rapper called Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't know if you know him. He's got all the 6ix9ine tattoos over him. I
Mm-mm.
remember because I was making rap music, like really, really depressing rap music. Like, um, it was quite popular. People loved it, and I loved it at the time. But when I
I didn't know you're a
realized,
rapper.
when I finally woke up, I was in heavy metal bands as well. Screaming front man on stage.
Yeah.
And my lyrics were just not not very positive, but I didn't understand the power of words and vibrations, and that our words and thoughts create. So I had created a pit of my life. Um, but I got to this point, and I heard this rapper say he cried out to God. He grew up in poverty, in like Peru or something, and he said he cried out to God, and then his whole life changed. I was like, well, he's number one on the Billboard. Like, there must be something. I heard about God. I grew up in a Christian family as a child, but I never resonated. I didn't, at the church, I didn't feel it. Like, I was like, this isn't right for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's this moment I said, what else have I got to lose? And I just cried and cried and said, God, if you're real, I want to know you. I want you to show yourself to me. I don't want to learn from someone else. um, you have to reveal to me, like you have to prove you exist if you exist. And I cried, complete surrender. Like it was so emotional. No fireworks or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I feel
No thunder
embarrassed.
and lightning and
No, 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 man's on the,
confetti and
yeah.
yeah. Big
Yeah,
banners.
from this.
Congratulations, you found
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah.
yeah. That'll come later.
Yeah.
But, the next day, I don't know if I told you, but I drove to bike to work and I had a flat tire on my bike and it was raining and I'm like, oh gosh, same life, same different day. But this day I walked into work because I'd started working at Lululemon and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
all about personal development. And I never even knew personal development. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what spirituality was. I didn't even know you could change yourself. I had to believe you were set in stone. And I remember one time when I was in construction, I got home and I was just crying in my in my car, like, oh, I didn't finish school, I didn't go to college, I just drank my whole life away. And I remember trying to accept my life like that, and I was crying like, oh, I'm just going to have to live this average life, working 9 to 5, making concrete slabs, getting yelled at. But I knew there was something in me I could feel it, like that wasn't what I was meant to be doing. But yeah, fast forward, I got to work and this book, it was like glowing, it was bright yellow. And I hadn't read for 10 years because I was told, I was dyslexic with ADD, so I had medication. And I always told myself the story that I couldn't learn, I couldn't read, I couldn't write. That was my identity then, so
Yeah.
I was really quite unintelligent. And then the book, I was like, okay, I pulled the book out and it said, "You're a badass, how to stop doubting your greatness and live an awesome life."
Yeah.
I was like, what a
Glowing
title.
gold on the shelf. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Okay. And then I opened it. First chapter was called The G Word. And it was about God. And the night before I'd cried to God, I want to know you. Even though I said
Yeah.
I want to know you, you can't, like, I don't want to learn from other people. That's how God works, talks through books, talks through people. Could be a message on the back of the bus. He's everything. So he works through everything. Or whatever the terminology.
Yeah. Whatever.
But I read it and it said, whether you call it higher power, source, consciousness, God, just know there's an intelligence within you, around you, working for you. If you just give it the chance, it will help. And I was like, well, okay. What have I got to lose? I'm going to do that. And I started with the word higher power because the word God like triggered me into full like.
Yep.
So I started,
Been there.
yeah, thank you, God. Thank you, higher power. Oh, my higher power. You're helping me. But this is where the light bulb happened. The second chapter is about the subconscious mind. And whatever you impress upon it will be manifested in your reality, good or bad. You grow a nice daisy or flower. You put a flower or a deadly weed, and whatever you water is going to grow. The same with the subconscious mind. And you can impress it by repetition or affirmations and visualization and meditation and just positive self-talk. And it just explained, if you're saying you feel you're poor, like, oh, I have no money. If you're saying, like, I don't even like saying that. If you say it, that's going to be your outcome. That's what you're going to see. The
Yeah.
world's a reflection of you. So whatever beliefs that you hold deeply within your subconscious, you're going to see it. Like, wearing these glasses with all your old beliefs. And it was just then this big light bulb went in my head, like, boom, I'm where I'm at due to my own actions, due to my own thoughts, my own thinking, my own imagining, habits and everything. Like, I created all this. And because I always used to blame everything else, it's
Yeah,
their fault,
exactly.
or it's this or that, why I'm like this, but it was all me. And it was that day I said, okay, I'm going to do what this book says, and I'm going to take complete, um,
Personal responsibility.
personal responsibility for my life. And
Yeah.
I remember it had a wee exercise to write down your negative beliefs and then rewrite them. So I got naked, stood in front of the mirror, and all these negative thoughts that had been brewing in me, I just wrote them down and then rewrote them again in a positive. And I became so conscious of these negative beliefs that when they come up, I could read like, no, that's false. That's not who I am. I am now confident. I'm getting more and more confident every day. Because working at Lululemon, you're beautiful people. all confident and happy, and I was like there making suicidal rap, you know. But there was a part of me that would still smile and would be happy, and I was so conflicted to who I was at that point. Am I just depressed, or am I just really joyful? But growing up, my father was quite a, he's quite a tough, stern man, and my brother was followed the same path. And me being sensitive, it was like I felt ashamed in a way to be that sensitive, happy, like little joyful person that was inside me. So I kind of suppressed it. So there was that conflict, and I got all chest piece, I got tattoos and all that to try and be this masculine, manly man to fit into things. And yeah, when I finally stepped into who I truly was, it was a beautiful day. Yeah, each day I just had to visualize myself being the person I wanted to be, walking, I am confident. And the more I did it, after a week, my shoulders are back, my head's up, I'm smiling, like walking around. I'm like, I belong here, it's really good. I set about writing goals, and I said, okay, I want to own a business. As soon as you write it down, the subconscious starts bringing people, events, circumstances into your life. They just drip feed it in, and it's up to you to recognize and take it. But a video of how to make money online came up, and I watched it, and it talked about social media marketing. And I said, okay, I want to make this business. And I started learning how to do this. And then I heard a quote saying, instead of ready, aim, fire, ready, fire, aim. And I said, all right, well, I feel ready. I know how to run ads. I need to find a client. And I rang 20 dentists. I wrote the word no down, ticked the word no each time. I got rejected. By the end of it, I had no clients. But then a week later, one rang me back and said they were on holiday and they wanted to meet me and to show my results. And I said, hey, I'm just looking to start. I've got no results. And he's like, oh, I like you, entrepreneur. And I got my first client. And that was like when a light bulb, oh my gosh, my mind creates, like, I can do this, can change my life. And 6 months later, I'd quit my job. I was earning enough money. I had enough clients to sustain my life. That's where coming into where that's where I started realizing, the power that we have within us, the God that dwells within.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I was in my business when I realized I had still so much trauma, within me that I needed to work through due to my upbringing, my father, and like he was a beautiful man, but he raised me the way he was raised, he only knew what he knew. And I'd have clients that were men, but I'd get so scared to call them that I was going to get yelled at and told off that I wouldn't call them. So then the self-fulfilling prophecy, they would end up calling me, yelling at me and telling me off or not be communicating.
Wow.
So that's the belief that, I was going to get in trouble.
That it's going to happen. Yeah.
So it happened. And but I was stuck. And this is where I had started meditating. I started with 5 seconds at a time because of the ADD brain. I was scared to close my eyes. I was scared of my thoughts, scared of my mind. But I had to, as I progressed and started being more positive, I used like guided meditations and walking meditations. And I come across Dr. Joe Dispenza. Do you know Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Love Joe Dispenza. I reference him all the time. Yeah.
Beautiful. So his book, Becoming Supernatural and Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, his blessing of the energy centers. I started doing that. And then I didn't know, when I started, body started going like this. And I'm like, oh, what's happening? As I go up my chakras, and I'm like, oh, something's happening here. Like this energy is coming up and like a snake in me. And I'm like, I don't know, my body's sweating. I'm getting all hot and sweaty. Like, and I keep doing it and I keep getting more. And I said to my friend, I was like, is there a snake in me or something? Like, every time I'm doing this meditation, the snake's like, oh, Kundalini. I was like, what's a Kundalini? No idea. No idea. Because, and then, the day it happened, my root chakra just started burning, spiraling. It was very painful. And then it just went up and hit my heart. and my heart just expanded into like infinite, like this love I never felt before, and that energy went up to my throat, up to my pineal, and then my brain exploded. That's all I can only explain it as exploding. Like all this energy, like all these atoms and everything just vibrating out. Like my consciousness that I was only like this went to expansive to like I'm this, like everything. Back to kind of that feeling on the mushrooms. But this time it was like doing it properly. But I didn't know what was happening at all, you know. But I had just started, you know, the third eye opened and I could see lots of things. Spirit, different entities, beings like angels, devils, you name it, everything. And I had such a love in me, like I couldn't explain. I never felt a love so intense. I couldn't handle it. I was asking it to stop. And I'd look at trees. I'd look at trees and just cry. I'd look at anyone and just be crying, like, "Oh my God, that's me. That's me." And it was so beautiful that, you know, and I couldn't really explain what was happening. You're going to start reading about it and asking questions of people that have been through it, and that's my life just started completely changed then. Sorry, I think I keep talking a bit much. Have you got something else you'd like?
I love it. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I asked and I want to honor you for sharing your truth, you know, so boldly and succinctly, because I think it's really important that we talk about where we came from, like the who and the what that we were doing before, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I just want to thank you for sharing that, you know, you did do lots of drugs and live the party life, and, you know,
Did it all.
yeah. And
Doesn't make me happy.
yeah, right. It was a part of your path that you were seeking. Obviously, you were seeking something, you know, that you weren't,
Definitely.
you weren't getting it. But to also talk about, you know, your childhood trauma as, you know, as detached from it now, you know, there's no resentment, there's no, you know, you said like my father's just doing, you know, what he knew at the time, which I think is really, really common for all of us, you know, from every type of, you know, they call them ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, from, you know, like sexual abuse to, you know, verbal abuse, like every type of parent. I mean, we've had them all, right? We're like an amalgamation of all that exists. And so I think it's really important to recognize that not only like, yes, this happened and I lived through it and I learned from it and it wasn't ideal, and it also was just, you know, reality, and that's what happened, and now I can see this other side of reality that I create. And I also, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, it's not who you are, it's what happened to you. Yeah.
Right.
It's not who you are.
Yeah, it's an experience that doesn't have to define you. It's just,
that's right.
yeah, it happened, and, you know,
No.
and also to bring up, you know, being deeply depressed and suicidal. And I mean, that's a lot of my journey as well. So I just really appreciate your willingness to share that, because I know that it's so true for so many people, you know, and I've even spent many years vacillating between, you know, this like, I know I'm infinite, I know I'm connected, I know I'm supported, I'm guided, I'm loved, and yet I still have these dark nights of the soul where I'm back in that space where it's like, what the fuck? You know, like I can't, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I still have, you know, times when there's like so much rage and anger, and like I step back into victim mindset, about what happened to me that doesn't define me, but it comes back as like really strong reality when I step away from being present and being and knowing what I know, when I slide it back into, my humanness and don't, other things take priority in my life over my practices and connecting. And so I really appreciate you bringing that up, because it's part of reality. And we're here, I believe, to help one another remember that it's not who, like, just like you said, it's not you, right? That's not who you are. That doesn't define you. That's an experience that you had. And you
The
can
memory.
also, yeah.
Like your whole body, your whole anatomy, all your cells, everything's renewed. You're a complete different being from then. It's just exists as a memory.
Yes, exactly. And remembering, right? That remembering how much you have experienced and how far you've come and what you've overcome to be where you are. Still being able to acknowledge yourself for that work. That's work when you're like in the thick of like
You're in the trenches.
being in, yeah, like literally, when I've been like, I can't get out of my bed. I'm just sobbing all day long, and I like hate myself for it, and I want to do things, but I just can't, and I just keep sabotaging myself. Like, that's work. That's
Yeah.
not like, it's not to be discounted. That's where you needed to be at that time. And it makes the recognition of what we now know to be really true, right? Like who we really are and what is possible for us, which is infinite. It's like, wow, look what
It's
I,
that good saying, when you're going through hell, keep going.
yeah. The
Yeah.
only way out is through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, once you go from that and then into, I'm a conscious creator, and then that old self, for years it's been your programming. Trying to overcome it is not an easy task, and anyone that says it is, it's just, I don't think so. Overcome it. It's
Yeah.
progress. It's a step by step and day by day. As soon as you wake up, even as soon everything here is trying to kill you, essentially. As soon as you're in the womb, things are trying to kill you. As soon as you're in the world, it's like you're here to survive, and as soon as I wake up, I got to repeat positive affirmations like, where I am, God is; where God is, I am. You kind of got to get yourself back into the flow, because sometimes, like you said, you could wake up and the mind might just be like going for you.
Oh yeah. I've been in
Yeah.
those times many, many, many times, even recently, when you're just like overcome by doubt, shame, guilt, limiting thoughts. It's like, whoa, I am in it. And
Yeah.
how do I, course correct? And like you were saying, flip those thoughts, right? It's like Byron
Yeah.
Katie's work. It's a
Gotta
lot of Joe
sometimes be
Dispenza, right?
aggressive with the mind, be like, hey, don't you even speak like that? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey,
Exactly.
get
I have a
yourself in
client who
line.
always says like, no, we don't do this anymore. This is not how
Yeah,
we talk. This is not how we think. Like, no,
yeah. Gotta
it
catch it and
takes,
check it.
yeah, it takes a little bit of that. Like, this is where I always battle with like is it too forceful? Because I come from a lot of verbal abuse. So I'm like, ooh, is that like, bad or wrong to be like that hard and be like, no, like this is not okay. We're not doing this. It's like, ooh, that feels too forceful. But it's like, but we all have that energy, right? We have the energy of all of the planets and all of the energies that exist. So we have this like force within us that we can use to be like, no, let me cut it out, right? This is Kali, this is Scorpio, this is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there.
Let's say the Battle of Arjuna, right? Is, the mind's the battlefield. Your five
Yes.
senses. trying to, it's like the who's going to rule your body today? Who's going to rule the kingdom of God? Is it King Soul or King Ego? And King Ego will send all his warriors in to try overcome, take the throne back of, your divinity. It's just the game. But yeah, that's a good way at the end. Who won today? Was it King Ego or King Soul? Did I stay in my divinity? Did I stay in love, peace, joy, compassion? Was I understanding? Was I gentle? Or was I, did I get triggered? Was I projecting? Was I angry? Who won? It's kind of like God, devil, Satan, whatnot. It's all the different energies. And yeah, you're the indwelling, deathless spirit within, but God's employed Satan to try coerce you away from that realization.
And how can we bring in more of the angels and the saints and the priests and priestesses and gods and goddesses and our ancestors and our, like, these are our troops, right? These are like bringing to the front line. There's this book, Stumbling Upon Happiness, and they talk about how it's your brain will naturally go towards the negative because it feels like it's as if it needs a lot of troops, like there's a battle and we need to fight it, so it brings more so that you react, so that you take action, when really you don't need more of the negative, right? Because we think about negative things cumulatively and we think about positive things singularly. So when we have a good experience, we're just like, wow, this one thing is so great, right? Like I got a promotion, or like I'm enlightened, or whatever it is. And we're just like, this is awesome. But when we think about a negative thing, we're like, oh, and I fucked up when I was 5, and like I did that thing wrong and I failed that test. It's like everything in our whole lives. And if we can just shift it a little bit to be like, no, the troops are like, we need to bring in the joy troops. We need to bring in the love troops, right? To remember, like, great, I'm experiencing this amazing thing. What else was awesome? Like this grain of salt is awesome, and the sun is awesome. Like, pull it all in.
And that's exactly how you rewire your mind, by dwelling in those positive states. Because people, like you said, they tend to dwell in more negative. And if you can keep, think of a joyful time and make yourself feel that joy over and over and over, imprints the subconscious. And then it's like, hey, okay, he wants more of this. And it becomes natural. It's like riding the bike, you really have to work at it. Next thing you know, you're riding with no hands, like texting. Just keep reminding yourself of the truths, spiritual truths, and those joyful moments and peaceful. And it's just catching yourself, being conscious, isn't it?
Yeah, being aware, right? The first step is recognizing them, so then you can take action on them and choosing, right? Realizing that you have choice, you're a conscious being, and you can choose in every moment to recreate.
Right now, you could, I'm going to choose to be peaceful. Meditation and like pranayama, and that has just been, the savior. For myself, daily practice. That's, starting at 5 seconds to when I was on the ashram, we had to meditate for 4 hours. It's at the ashram in America. From where I was to where I am now, I love closing my eyes. I used to avoid it. Now I'll be hanging out with people, I'll just have my eyes closed.
It's so nice.
Like it's all within. Like the peace and joy that can swell up is just beyond comprehension, really. Then the more you do it, the more you practice it. And it's very special. How
do you get yourself back to that space, if anything like knocks you back into what you described as ego? Or
I just go sit in silence and breathe up and down my spine, keep my awareness here or in my heart, just bounce the two. Affirmations, I guess it depends what the situation is, because sometimes something can come and it just engulfs the mind. Like I'm just watching my mind thinking of all these things it should say to this person, or like as coming up with all these arguments that don't even exist. And I'm just sitting there like watching. I'm like, oh yeah, keep going. Yeah, cool. Well, that's a good one.
You done yet? Yeah. Look at that.
You got him there. I think it is when you just realize that the thoughts are going to be there. There's I think Ramana Maharshi says that you can either, you put in the work and you got to meditate and learn to control the mind, or you just completely 100% surrender and be okay with any thought. He said, well, you're not the mind, so what does it matter what it's thinking? But it's when we get so identified with it. And, definitely I just sit and then like chant Om, go up and down my spine, up and down my chakras, chanting Om in each one. Or just gently breathe in the nose and out the mouth. And even affirmations like the what if I felt calm right now? What if I could let go? What if I felt peaceful? And when you say the what if, the imagination says, oh, what if I did feel peaceful, my shoulders would relax, oh, my jaw would unhinge, oh yeah, I'd have a gentle smile. Yeah. Moves you into now I am peaceful.
And then what does that make possible for you in your life when you can be in that state again?
Well, you're not reacting, you're more acting now. It's I can look at something and be like, okay, this has happened. I can see where they're coming from. I can, how should I respond? Because sometimes, someone said something, or I think someone called me a cuck today.
A cuck? What is that?
Oh, a cuck, someone that watches like their partner have sex with another man or woman, with like in the corner, because because I'm running events like ads for mine and Yogi Guruji's events. And then he's like, what does self-realized grow a beard and call yourself a yogi? And then I commented, it made me laugh, because you get the most funniest comments when you run paid ads. And I said, come along, like open your heart and feel what it means to be self-realized. Because you can feel the energy of a self-realized being. I said, just come feel. We'll give you all the time you need. Ask any question. And then he said, oh, give me your time now. What did he say? Something. How do you become self-realized? Maybe I'm the one. Oh, something about him being self-realized. He's the spirit that told us to create the event. And then I was like, yeah, well, self-realized is when you realize that you are one with everything, and there's the unity, it's all oneness. So I was like, you're right. And I said, but there's the intellectual understanding or the experience. I said, there's a difference. And then he wrote back, is this that white cuck boy replying? Because I know no crazy haired, bearded man could write like this.
Wow.
It made me laugh. I was like, wow, I just, I was like, maybe
no judgment though. No judgment.
Yeah. I said, maybe find peace within yourself. We're here when you're ready. And then he said, I'm going to come to your event and shit on the walls and all in the toilets. And I said, I look forward to meeting you. Yeah.
Thanks.
That when people say stuff like that, there's two ways I could have responded. I could have been like he called me a cuck, or like got offended with whatever label he had given me, or just laugh and be like, He's on his own conscious journey. He's with his understanding, when people do stuff like that, I always wonder what they're going through to
something
want
really
to,
hard.
on a public platform say, it's kind of embarrassing for him, really. I don't know. It's just a troll, but it made me laugh, and that show,
but there's something there, right? There's some deep pain that's happening that is coming through as judgment and resentment of you, just as this mirror to what he's feeling about himself.
That's right. Sometimes people say, "Oh, you're so wonderful," and I'm just a reflection of you. Yeah. And he's a reflection of me. Like, what part of me was wanting to say that, right? It's vice versa.
It's like, thanks for giving that part of me a voice.
Yeah.
That wasn't one I was gonna step into today. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still there somewhere.
Yeah. I'm no stranger to that rage. Yeah. Gotcha. I feel you, man. It's all good. Yeah.
It's okay. You'll get through it.
Yeah.
That's like what you said. How does the peace help? Like in situations like that, or if someone, on the spiritual path, people challenge you in your beliefs and what you talk about, and when you can peaceful and breathe and try actually hear them. What are they saying? What are they trying to get, convey to me? They're not attacking me. They're like, they got a question, but it can be easy to get into that. Oh, they're coming at me. And that when I first awoke, because I had such a huge experience, and I don't know about you, when you wake, you want to tell everyone, like, this is beautiful, like, or when you find God or universal consciousness, you want to tell the world, and you quickly realize people don't want to hear it.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Don't you want to know all this? No, I gotta go do my stuff.
What are you talking about? No. I gotta go. Like, okay, I was gonna speak to people that do want to listen, and just cheer on the people that don't. That's we set these events up and go around, and you meet the most beautiful people in all walks of life, or even in the supermarket, and people come up to us and start chatting, and next thing you know, they want to come to the ashram, or and it's it's nice. It's been a journey, but going back to my father, like, I had the most, because I never connected with him growing up that much. And then I resented him when I was older. And then I had this profound experience where I got to see every kind thing he'd ever done for me from the moment I was born to that moment. It was on a slideshow. And these beings are like, you hold your father in such a negative light, and it was him in like this dark thundercloud. It's like, this is your perception of him due to these little events that happened to you. Here's everything he ever did for you from your birth to now, every kind of thing, his whole life from when you were born was to raise you. He's like, because he ended up having his legs chopped off, his shoulders, he couldn't move, heart attack, stroke, losing kidney to cancer, and also he died last year in August. So a lot that they showed me, even he worked for all that to raise me, to love me, and his love, I just didn't understand. And then after that moment, my heart was so exploded for him, this newfound love, that I started going, and because I had learned, Reiki and healing, and when you wake, you get drawn to all these things, and you want to help everyone. Because I went to lots of therapy for myself to get myself right before I could start working with others. And then I started doing Reiki with my father. And when he was younger, he went down a flying fox at a junkyard. He held a bit of metal and went down this wire, and it heated up, and he dropped and knocked himself into a 3-month coma and forgot his whole life, So he damaged the frontal lobe. And as we did healing, because I had this new love for him, laid my hands on this, because after the Kundalini, my heart exploded, my brain grew, I started understanding a lot more. I could read scripture, my intuition was just, it was becoming supernatural, like Dr. Joe Dispenza talked. And I had a lot of other profound experiences from that first initial one. That was like the entry to what ended up happening. But so I got the gift, like you were talking about gifts, the gift of like energy healing and transference. And I'd do it with my father. And, it's the divine working through you. I'm just the vessel. It's not I'm doing it, but his head started burning. And then all like the neurons and whatnot must have been reconnecting. And he started remembering all these things he had forgotten. And week by week, I'd work with him, and because he was quite, negative and very loving man, so loving. He's so loving that, the mind wasn't his best friend. So I'd teach him, how to work with his mind and control it, teach him to meditate. I connected like frequency music with him in his sleep, because he'd often fall asleep. Like when I'd do healing with him, he's like, I don't know where you send me. But he was able to put that music on and it would put him to sleep, and he could sleep through the night. So he could now sleep, and he was just getting better and better, mentally, but his body had just had it. So eventually, the soul could no longer stay in a ruined body, and death's the soul's best friend, really, because you can't just stay in the same garment. But I got to be with him because we did so many one-on-ones. I got to be with him as he took his final breath, just praying for him and telling him the most beautiful things as he left the body. And I felt like we were floating in consciousness together, and my vision all went flickering, like the room was golden flickering. And then as he was doing pranayama, like breathe out, like hold it, but before that was like rapid breathe, like. So it was really interesting watching him go through. I was like, this is yoga. Like he's detaching the soul from the body right now through pranayama. And I sat with him and I was matching his breathing, and then breathing in and exhaling. And then the exhales got so long I couldn't do it. But yeah, everything started floating and flickering gold. And when he left his body, this beautiful energies washed through me, and this peace for about 10 minutes. And then it all kind of settled back into just regular. And I was like, oh, I better tell the hospital that my father's he's left now. But it was a very special moment. I feel we had a contract, to come to help each other, which is beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, wow. So many nuggets of wisdom and just truth and honesty and your humanness and the spirit that you are truly embodied. Yeah.
I think it's so important to be honest, right?
Yes.
Even if it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Authenticity is a huge thing.
Yeah, and so much of it is just saying it, right? Just speaking it, expressing and letting it be heard without concern for how it will be perceived or how it affects anyone else. Just, this is what I need to express.
Yeah.
That's it. And
it's what's coming through my heart. And sometimes when you get in the flow of things, you feel like you're just the witness of what's happening and what's being said. And I used to be scared of what people would think, and then when I realized whatever they think of my own thoughts, it stopped having as big a meaning.
My first, it was my friend who's now I think psychologist, and was always in AA. She was always sober, and she used to always say, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
So why are
you can't change it?
Yeah.
Even if you wanted to, you can only change what you think about it.
Yeah.
The
And it's
easier said
really
than
their
done.
business. Like it's really like that's their thoughts.
Yeah,
You don't even have like a right to their thoughts, right?
yeah,
Never mind, you
yeah,
don't know. There's
yeah,
no way, without like directly asking them and then assuming they would be completely honest and authentic about it. There's no way for you to know what they're thinking. So like it's literally what you think.
yeah. If you think they're judging you, it's because you're judging yourself, really.
Yeah. What do
Well,
you think
because
they're
I used to
thinking?
think that. I was like, after my way, because my whole heart just exploded, and all I wanted was God, like with God, God, God. It's all I could think about, and all I wanted to talk about, and but then I'd be like, oh, scared, like, what are people thinking? What are people thinking of me? Because I was like, all black heavy metal band and rah rah to
Mm-hmm.
this complete changed person. People are like, who are you? You know, what happened to Gareth? I want my old friend back. The one that drinks and does
Yeah.
drugs. And all my friends, not all of them, but a lot, that reality just collapsed and fell away. And then new people, different frequencies, different vibes came into my life to challenge me or to uplift me, which are, essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was a bit of a struggle. Trying to relate with my old friends, like, because when you're in relationships, when you're relating, right? I like heavy metal, I like rap, I like this, and then I no longer want to listen to anything negative or any lower vibration because I understand what it does to the mind and the body and everything. We no
Yeah.
longer related. It's like, oh, we keep missing, and we're trying to connect, but eventually it just, we're still like, hello, I hope you're doing well, and you have a chat and stuff, but it's never going to be that deep
Yeah.
relationship it once was.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
the same baseline, right? The
Mm.
same interest, priority, how you want to fill
Yeah.
your time and your words and your thoughts, right?
Unless they end up having an awakening. Like, I've had people then now come to me like who were like, well, you've gone mad. Like 5 years ago, and now they come to me and like, oh, I love what you're doing, And it's
You're
like,
onto
oh,
something.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. Hey, they made there's something to that madness.
I wow, yeah, those are the cool moments. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's chat again.
And
Cool.
I think it's quite challenging on your family as well, because they've known you as this person for so long, and then you awaken and you're completely different. And they're kind of, because your family's always there. Well, you're not with everyone, but in my
Yeah.
case, yeah. And mum being traditional Christian, I'm like, there's a snake coming up and down my spine. Mum, she's like, it's the devil,
Yeah,
And I'm
that's the
like,
same thing my dad says.
yeah,
These goddesses are really that's devil. That's the devil. You're being overtaken by the devil. I'm like,
yeah.
no,
This is
it's
absolute
okay.
divine, like when
Yeah.
Moses raised the serpent in the wilderness. Jacob's ladder, he climbed the spiral staircase to the pineal kingdom and ascended and met God in the sky. Jesus Christ, if thine eye be single, thy body shall be filled with light. These are all things I've experienced, and I had to go to scripture to make sure they were in scripture to tell my mum, like, look, it's
Yeah.
all, this is what it's written about. It's all the divine. And
This is Carolyn Miss's work, the link
yeah.
between Christianity, Hinduism, and Kabbalism.
And Paramahansa Yogananda came and linked the Hinduism and the Christianity, all same. Swami Sri Yukteswar wrote the Holy Science, which is it combines it all. It's all just one truth,
Yeah.
different
Yes
paths to
and
get to the
yes.
top. Mm.
Right.
Which is hard to comprehend for a lot of people, especially if they've been stuck
Mm-hmm.
in it. You know, their beliefs for a long time, and then something comes and completely challenges it. You're going to be met with resistance.
Yeah.
Like Neville Goddard
Absolutely.
talks about Jesus Christ being your imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Father, the I am that I am who sent you. Tell him I am sent you. I am is your awareness of self, your consciousness. That's the Father, and then the intelligence of God, the sun, is your imagination. You know, all things are possible to God. You can right now close your eyes and imagine you're walking on Mars, right? And now flying on an elephant with wings. Yeah, you can you can see all things. And the way he describes it in terms of manifestation is you create a scene that implies the wish fulfilled. So whatever you want to experience, I think what would be an easy example? Maybe having a coffee with someone. You know, you wanted a really nice coffee. Well, this is just a simple example. Your scene that you would create would be telling your friend, your flatmate, you'd come in and I just had the best coffee today. It was amazing.
Yeah.
That would imply you had the coffee, right? So now you've impregnated Mary. Jacob, your just regular consciousness, is impregnated Mary, who is now going to give birth to Jesus Christ, your manifestation. So Christ will create every situation, scene, circumstance, and event for you to get to you walking in that door. I just had the best coffee. And that would be the birth of Christ, born of a virgin. And his way of explaining it's like, pretty out there. But it really makes sense in terms of manifesting. Like he says, the Bible is not historic. It is just now. It's a spiritual truth of man's psychology. And every person of the Bible is a state of consciousness man goes through to awaken that they are the Son of God. Then they realize I am one of the Father, to realize you are one with all and everything, beyond creation and within creation. I think
Yeah, I love that.
It's really deep stuff.
It's like all the iterations of possibility in, you know, and what did he call them?
States of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And then, you can read Paramahansa Yogananda's interpretation of the Bible, and he relays it all back to consciousness and everything. It's all like the same thing. And I think once you've had these experiences, it's a truth to you, you know. Like if thine eye be single, that's truth to me. I know because I was meditating and on the single eye, and a golden light filled my entire body, and every feeling, any tension or riggediness I had in my body was washed away, and I was in like absolute bliss. I just like, is this my life now? Like eventually it wore away as you go back through the world and things come into your life again. But for those like 3 days, I was in heaven, like absolute state heaven consciousness. And so that stuff's truth to me now. It's like I know it's not like a story. And I think that comes on the spiritual path. Stories are really good because they can inspire you. But when you can turn them into an experience, you put them to the test. Like when someone says your imagination creates reality, and you're like, oh, whatever. You're like, okay, I'm going to test it. I'm going to imagine myself petting a black cat. I'm going to hear it purring. I'm going to feel how cute it is. And then in a week from now, you'll probably have a black cat on your lap and you'll pet it and be like, oh my gosh, they were right. What else can I do with my newfound knowledge and truth? And then you can start.
Create everything.
Yeah. You can create a business. You can create. I had a dream of being on the ashram. I've had the visions of me having the ashram. Now I'm at the ashram, and he wants me make me a director of it. So 26 hectares of land, and I'm running it and part of the team and everything. It's like God works in the most mysterious ways. So beautiful. When I went to America, I was like, I don't have the money to go to America, but I'm going to go live as a monk there. And I looked at the website, I looked at the ashram, and they had a pond. And I was like, what would a scene would imply that I was in America? And it was me. I just imagine I keep walking up to the pond and touching the water and feeling the water on my hands and feeling the feelings of being there. And as I fell asleep at night, I repeated that. And then next thing you know, like my mum's like comes up to me, oh, Gareth, I know you want to go live as a monk. I want to help you. I'll pay for your accommodation over there. And I was like, oh, great, cool. I'll keep saving for my flights. I was like, oh, thank you. That's amazing. And then I keep, with the hands. I'm like, I'm there. I'm already in America. It's already happened. It's just downloading now. As I saved money, Mum's like, how about I pay for your flights and you just save for your accommodation? Because I was going to spend a bit of time in LA. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So we booked the flights. So well, that's my flights taken care of. And as it got closer to the time, I'd saved about $3 and a bit, $4 grand, because it was going to cost $3 grand or something for all this accommodation. Due to COVID and that at the time, we weren't actually able to go into LA. So they said, you're just going to spend the whole time at the ashram. So then I didn't have to pay for accommodation. I had $3 and a bit, $4 grand, 3 flights to America. And then I get there and they're feeding me all this food, beautiful food. I'm with beautiful people. I'm with God, chanting every day, and I'm meditating with monks and working in the gardens. And the first thing I got there, I was in my room. They're like, oh, we're going to leave you here for 3 days because, the distancing time. And they're like, go for a walk, though. And I went for a walk. And then guess what I seen? That wee pond. And I walked up and touched the pond in my hand. And I was like,
there it is.
The manifestation has been birthed. I'm in America.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. He's been born. It was so beautiful. And I learned a valuable lesson. Because I was like, oh, yeah, as you learn that you can use your imagination to create, there's still the doubt. Satan's AI is doubt, that doubting part of you that, oh, that's not possible, because all things are possible to God. So all things are possible to my imagination. If I can believe, as I believe shall be done unto me. And I was like, I'm going to be put into business class, and I kept imagining myself in business class and imagining it. And then I got called into the plane and I got seated, and I'm like, anytime now they're going to come move me up to business class. And I was like adamant it was going to happen. And then as soon as doubt came in, I was like, oh, maybe, because it got closer to taking off.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's not going to happen. As soon as that thought, the lady came up to me and she's like, excuse me. And I was like, yes, yeah, oh no, lady at the window. She's like, we're actually going to move you up to business class. And the lady next to me got moved up to business class. And I was like, no. I gave in to doubt.
Dang it, you nasty thought, you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But on the way back,
powerful.
I said, all right, God, well, I'm not even going to imagine. I'm just going to be happy with whatever you give me. I surrender, because I was just learning surrender, because intelligence knows what you need in your life more than we do. And then I got on, and then I got to sit there. There's no one next to me. So I had all this space, but then they put, there was a wee Asian man, super quiet, not one word out of him the whole time. So I had all the space, the window, and I was like, oh, this is more space than that seat up in business class. So it kind of fulfilled the desire in a way.
Yeah, that's so good.
Very good.
Oh,
lovely speaking with you.
Yeah, you too. Just as like a final wrap up, which question?
Yeah. Sorry, I keep talking.
No, I love it. It's wonderful. It's what needs to be shared.
Yeah.
What, if anything, is your most unique or incredible superpower that you're here to share with the world?
Well, as you said that, I was in my heart and the word connection came. I feel I have quite a good ability to connect with people. Just on a surface level, but then on a very deep level as well. And even that's what Guruji said. He's like, you have such a way with people. You're so loving and pure. You just connect, and they feel safe around your presence. And I remember when I did Practice and Purpose, Lululemon sent me to a place, and they wanted us to find our purpose. And it was about being vulnerable, to show others that they can be vulnerable, that it's a strength, that you can, be yourself and open up. and then that, you know, helps connect people. So I think, yeah, connection is a nice strength.
Love it.
I guess my love for God. I think that's something special. I think that's the most, for me anyway, the most important thing that we come here to learn is to realize and build that connection. Well, there's that connection again. I guess it's connection.
Yeah, with others, with God, with all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because others
we
are
are all
God.
God. Yeah.
I remember in one of my experiences, God said, you know, showed me that everything is all God, the one. Said, even that bit of trash out there, if you judge it, you're judging me. And I was like, oh, wow, that's deep. Okay. Everything just is. I love you, trash.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel your gift is?
I have an immense capacity for like listening and absorbing what people need
I
to share
noticed.
without taking it on, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
It's important.
So I'm here to hear it all.
Here to
Yeah.
hear.
I'm here to hear. Hear, hear.
Here to hear. That's going to be the quote for this one. I'm here to hear. You got the lovely hair as well.
Here to hear with my hair. My
I'm
hair
here
behind the hair.
The rabbit runs past. Here.
Here to hear the hair.
Here.
My hair. Is that your
Hearing,
hair? Is that my hair? Is that a hairy hair? Well, it's been such a great time. It's just really nice talking with you and hearing from you as well.
Yeah. And connecting.
Yeah, and connecting. We're feeding each other. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I still got one of these.
We can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Oh, that's okay.
Where's the microphone? Was it like a...
It's a whistle, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where the mic is. I can't hear it at all, but...
you should come to the ashram.
Yeah, I definitely will.
I think that's that's the whole, after all these, you know, the big awakening, and I remember just writing, my hand just took over writing all the stuff that I'd be doing. And I was like, what do you mean? This is madness. But to see it all unfold, like it's telling me I'm going to meet lots of teachers that will teach me, and then I'll teach people. And then, you know, they put me into marketing so I could market courses to help people with awakening and find God and all this stuff. And now, you know, I'm on the ashram and traveling around connecting and trying to, you know, like you should come to the ashram and spend some time and come around and help teach people. And
absolutely,
it's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's next,
because we're just opening it. You know, there'll be a wee checklist that we got to take people through, just to make sure, you know, because coming into isolation can be quite tough on someone if they're so used to being in the world and suppressing all their stuff. If you're out in nature will vibrate it out, and all the stuff will come up. You'll be in the garden, like fighting with someone from 20 years ago in your mind.
Yeah, all the free radicals, right? It's like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place here, a safe space for people to come, meditate, you know, eat good food, be in nature, bit of karma, yoga, you know, doing a bit of selfless service, helping us out. Because it's still very early, you know, we've only got 3 rooms. We've got the one shower, one toilet, hot shower. We got the wee temple, and we're just building stuff. So we kind of need all the resources and people that are, you know, willing to open the heart and help us out at the moment. So
yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming with with the clan.
Yeah,
It's too deep right now, but you know, we'll gather up some
Yeah.
We'll magnetize.
What would imply you're giving you a hug? You made it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would imply you're here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you fall asleep, just imagine that. I knew you'd make it.
I made it. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos. It's really good.
Oh, have you watched some of my
Made
videos?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I made it one and the one with, I forget his name, who was like one of your biggest inspirations.
Oh, Brian Scott?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it the one I just did? Yeah. I should
Just
have
watching it
all
today.
planned for that. I traveled so much, I didn't have anything written down. And then I
It's
was like,
brilliant.
oh, was it
Yeah.
all good? Because I
Yeah, it
thought,
was
I was like,
exactly
oh,
what it needed to be. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
there's that part of the mind.
There it is. Yeah.
He comes up. Did I
Shoulda.
do the right thing?
You're
Should have.
shitting yourself.
Yeah.
That's a is it Marie Forleo or Sonia Francis? I forget two of my teachers, but it's like, stop shooting yourself. You're just shooting yourself. That's not
Yeah.
nice.
No, it's all that it was meant to be. No, that was real special. Yeah, because like I said in that video, I said in the video, I'm going to have him on my channel.
Yeah, and then you did.
Cool. And
The
it
proof
comes,
is in the pudding. You want
that's
to
right.
manifest?
Yeah.
Keep watching. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at this, huh? I said it.
Take
Look at it's
Try
happening.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Try it.
The
Um,
connector.
yeah, you don't blind belief, just try it. Believe enough to try it.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Because the belief you can believe, okay, well, if he's done it, Beth's done it, they're manifesting. Well, why can't I? I believe I could do it. And then you put it to the test, and then you realize, oh, well, I can. I always say start with small things, but start with something massive.
Yeah, why not? I like to
Yeah.
challenge a lot of my clients with that. Like, what's the most, like, the furthest from your belief system, or like what would be like the biggest shift, or what's the top of the mountain? Like, what does that look like? And then how can we take like one step towards that, like the Capricorn energy, like what's the next step, even though that's the thing, but then like we need to see it in its entirety, or just as we envision it now, so then we know which direction we're taking that step, helps to define your yes and no's.
Yeah. And it's and once you've got the vision and you start seeing yourself as it, you got to be conscious of what's coming into your reality, because they come quick and they can come so subtle, you might miss it. But then you have inspired action, like when in the video where I interviewed you, I said about the mansion and had the thought about Tim. That was inspired action, even though I didn't know it at the time. But
we often don't know, right? It's just like, oh, I guess I'll do this thing. Oh, there's the thing.
Who knew
The least expected place.
Yeah, who knew 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks, when I seen Guruji, that me going up talking to him would be sitting here, traveling the whole country teaching. Another thing I had visualized. It's
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, so saying from Neville Goddard says that everything you're experiencing now was once a thought, and you were conscious of it in your imagination, whether you knew it or not. And then he said a lot of times people were frightened when the reflection of what their mind has been created, because
what they've been feeding their mind and what it's manifesting as. Excuse me. So how can people get in touch with you? How can they reach you or join you?
So follow me on Gareth Fleck on YouTube, or Gareth Fleck 1111 on Facebook. It'll be Gareth Fleck Sacred Haven, or at www.sacredhaven.co.nz. So that's where that's mine. or now I'm at NZ Ashram. So if you just type in NZ Ashram and can have a look at the page. We need to update the website, make it look a bit more nicer. Or yeah, Yogi Bishwanas. But yeah, just go to my Facebook. Really, you can message me there or
Yeah, cool.
watch the journey, see what we've been doing.
You have everything on your personal page, or is there a Sacred Haven?
Yeah, it's just called Gareth Fleck Sacred Haven. That's my business page.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome anyone.
Wonderful. Well,
how long have we been going?
Hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
You must have the paid subscription of Zoom.
I do. It is my main mode of communication and connection. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't have it and I ran out of time with Brian Scott.
Oh yeah. Is it at 45 minutes?
Yeah, we spent like ages talking before we recorded, so we got like 33 minutes out of it. But it was all it had to be.
I always have those conversations with people, like just so many sacred conversations, and I'm like, I didn't hit record. It's just like the intro time, and then we talk for like 45 minutes. It's like,
yes,
this is so brilliant. This is all such beautiful conversation. It should be shared, but oh well, it's just for us.
That's right.
Come
That's
back
what I
around
say.
again. Yeah.
So when you try and get a picture of something beautiful and then it moves like a bird or something, and then it moves, and that was just for me.
Yeah. Or like taking the time, especially today, to not reach for the phone to take the photo. Just like, let me just enjoy this incredible beauty.
Yeah, it's always funny that like when I want to take videos and put it online, I'm like, why? Yeah, well, my mum loves to watch it, loves to see stuff, and
yeah,
I enjoy it. It's kind of like your own diary, really. Then you can scroll through it. Apart from like years ago, like Facebook memories sometimes pop up and you cringe. You cringe. Like, I wonder if I'm going to be cringing at myself now with what feels so natural. Yeah,
it's
change
possible,
forever
right?
changing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love social media for that, for just like being I enjoy mine sometimes. Sometimes I'll just go on my own Instagram and be like, these are great. I'm like,
Whose
this
profile
is
is
such a
this?
cool video. You guys you should check this out. This chick's really cool.
I interviewed another girl at the festival, and she had smoked DMT over 320 times.
Whoa.
And she had done mushrooms, 52-gram trip. So I was like, I need to speak to you. But she said something really wonderful. It wasn't on camera, because when you do that, you go back to source. She said, just talking about Bufo, it goes straight back to source. And she realized, she had two options. She either stays just as nothing, as self, or continue to create. And I was like, isn't it funny that you're in this body? Out of all of them, you're chosen. She's like, but I realized that I love the character. I'm so in love with this character that I keep playing her. And I was like, oh wow, I quite like that. That's really special.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
you love this character, so you choose
That's why
to
you're
play.
here.
Yeah, you love
That's
the
why you're
story.
in this embodied state. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Especially when people are like self-deprecating of the form that they take in this lifetime. It's like, you must have loved it. You do it again.
Yeah, that's
or maybe
right.
it's first time or whatever, but like,
yeah, getting used to it,
you
learning to
chose
love it.
it. Yeah, I love
You can
that.
go real deep into that, like your soul. You had to experience every life, every single thing until you merge back into pure oneness and stay there before you get bored again and go, hey, let's start another one.
Let's get another thing going here.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Literally tapping out of this body, like, bye.
Mm.
New body. Change
See you
over.
later. Yeah, trying to change the suit.
Yeah.
Back into. Do you mind if I keep talking?
I want to wrap it up soon just because
Yeah.
I'm super tired, but
No, we should go.
one more and then a closing of some kind.
Okay, it
How's
was
that
more
sound?
about I had a desire to wear suits and do real estate and stuff. And
You
I
had that
remember,
desire?
yeah, and I got my real estate license and did real estate, and then I got really unwell because like the amount of rejection you got to go through, and I just was
Yeah.
so against my heart. I enjoyed the helping people and connecting with people, but by the end of it, I was like, this isn't who I am. But with the suits, because it was just a random ego desire I had, and I'd imagine going like this, like through my suits. That was my scene, and like this sweet wardrobe. And next, I manifested living in this tiny home that had a big walk-in wardrobe. And then got into real estate, and I had all these suits. And next day, I was like, so funny.
Ah.
Yeah.
The parallels.
Because after coming from the ashram of silence, I went into a job speaking to 80 people per day on the phone, trying to see if people want to sell their homes. So the duality of it was like, oh, that's all right. I feel I'm where I'm supposed to be now, and I feel very in touch with my inner being. And
Nice. Yeah.
like,
Connected.
yeah, connected.
And you were connecting with all those people regardless,
Yeah, that's
regardless
right.
of the topic. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing connecting with you, Beth.
You
Thank you for your
too.
time, and I don't even know
Thank
what
you
the
for
time is now.
yours.
Whoa, I should be asleep.
Yeah, exactly. How should we
Good.
close this session? Gareth, do you have anything you'd like to do?
Maybe we could chant Om 3 times.
Love it.
So breathe in and Om. Om. Breathe in. Om. Breathe in. Om. Om. Peace. Amen. May God bless you all. Well, you disappeared for a second.
Did I?
Yeah.
It's my amazing hologram.
Yeah.
This is behind
The
my...
Matrix. You see your God hiding behind the Matrix. I've been here the whole time. I'm behind the darkness of closed eyes. Yeah.
Well, have a beautiful sleep. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing all of your story, wisdom, love, connection.
Love, 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 love.
Love, love, love.
It's all love.
Shiva, Shiva.
Hey. Shiva. I bow before all saints, prophets, sages. I humbly bow before the one infinite God that all temples, churches, monasteries are all resurrected in the name of. Wonderful. All right. Love you. And
Love
you have a
you
good sleep.
too. Thank you. Talk soon. I'll see you at the ashram very soon.
You will.